Hello everybody, Zoe here from Learning Boosters. And today's Wisdom Wednesday is all about fun family activities for home. During this break time, it's really good to have some ideas of things we can do with our kids. And these are some of the things that I used to do with my children when we were in break time. And I found that there were a couple of things to really consider. One was, what are they interested in? What lights them up? It might be blowing things up, in which case, you can do some experiment type things and blow things up in the backyard. It might be dinosaurs. You could hide some dinosaurs in different places in the garden and get them to try and find them through maps or through clues that they've got to read, that sort of thing. So we need to make this a fun time, but we can also make it a learning time, because if kids are learning through fun, they retain the knowledge better. And if they're learning through fun, most of the time they don't even realise that they're actually learning, which is always a plus. So when the activities are fun and they're directed towards things they like, then they will learn, they will retain that knowledge, and everybody's having fun. So in other words, let your child lead the actual way in the activity. So let's share some practical and fun things you can do as a family, as a whole family, not just as an individual with the child. Drive to a walking track is a really good one that I used to do with my family. So get the kids to actually, have some things in place first, like we're going to time the walk, but before we time the walk, we weren't going to estimate, and explain to them what estimate means. So we're going to guess how long we think the walk is going to take us. And this is before most walks had the signs with the map on it and then, with the time on it. Try not to show them that first, because of course most kids will be being tricky and trying to look for the pointers. So you could tell them that it's X number of kilometres, and if we walk at a certain pace, then this is how long it might take. What's your estimate? So get them to actually estimate how long it's going to take them to do the walk. After the walk, you can check out the time, because you'll have the stopwatch going. So, and everybody usually has their own watches these days, don't they? So you can get them to actually time it on their watch as well. And then after the walk, get them to actually draw a picture of the walk. And, whether they crossed rivers, whether there were bridges, whether the track was big or small, whether it curved, all those sorts of things. They're fun things to do as a family. And then you can have sort of like a show and tell, like, I estimated it would take us 30 minutes. It actually took 32 or 40, and this is what my map looks like. So it's a sharing thing. It's also getting kids to talk to you about something and get the communication opening and flowing. So that was always a really good thing. And the other pluses to that one, of course, is that the reasons for a walk could be not only exercise, duration, exploring. So you could actually be looking for particular things. So you could make it a kind of obstacle course or a treasure map type thing. We have to find these things on the walk. It's an appreciation of nature, so lots of things that go on in nature. What birds did we see? That sort of thing. Imagination, so you could even build a fort if you're allowed to, if it's not a not a national park. You build a fort and play a game. You can take photographs while you're on the walk, and you can chat with your family. There's all some really good positive things there to be doing and reasons for a walk. So the other thing that surprised me was that a lot of kids actually like Lego or alternatives to Lego. Now, Lego is very useful for learning fractions. So you can actually use the Lego pieces to teach about fractions, parts of, get your children to practice writing them down. For example, denominator and numerator. So you might have a piece of Lego that's got 6 little dots on the top. You might talk about half, talk about 3/4, talk about 1/4, that sort of thing. And then actually get them to build it with the Lego and then write the actual fraction down. So 1/2, 3/4, that sort of thing. So that's, again, a fun thing you can be doing. Shopping online. Let's face it, who doesn't like shopping online? Get children to get a list of what groceries are needed, for instance, and to estimate the cost. Then show them how to order them online. Then use this as a maths exercise. So add up each item, include the delivery costs, if there is a delivery cost, of course. Then divide the cost between the members of the family. And this is a good multi-step way of showing kids the practicalness of lots of things, like how you do it, budgeting. It's a maths exercise. They have to do some estimation again, all those things. Another great thing I'm finding with lots of kids is designing their own app. So you can do this. There's a free app called iBuild app. So that's small I build app, one word. You can choose a template. You can change anything that you want to add, images, videos, all that sort of thing, text, whatever you like. There's no coding required for this particular app. And what it does is it develops English, it develops the imagination, it's a visual thing, all those sorts of skills. Ask them if they could design their own app, what it would actually be. So it could be a game, a puzzle, a story, could be virtual or try jewelry, those sorts of things. So the app to unite communities even. So this involves problem solving, planning, all sorts of planning, visual planning as well as text planning. And you can look at ideas online for them to formulate some of their own ideas. You can put it on a social network. You can use other communities to share it, so that you're getting this idea across to other families as well. And that's what I'm hoping this blog will do too, give you some ideas. So if you want them to build an actual plan for an app, here's some good practical things to have a think about. So 1, you want them to describe the app. What are its main features? 2, who is it for? So you need a target audience, an age group. 3, does it solve a specific problem? Is there a problem that they're actually designing the app for, or is it for fun? What's it going to look like? 5, what makes it interesting? So why would other people be interested in, or might other people be interested in this app? Why are they interested in this app? And do they need to research anything? Again, we have the facilities of online. It's a phenomenal amount of information there. Get them to do some research on it. 7, do they need to brainstorm with someone else? So is there someone else they know that they need to brainstorm with? Of course, working with someone else is always great because then you get their ideas on board as well, and they actually get to talk about their ideas and whether they're going to be of any use, whatever it might be. So 8, you need to name your app. So the last thing really is the naming of the app. First of all, you need to decide what it is, who it's for, what it's going to look like, what problem does it solve, all those sorts of things. So there's some really good practical ideas on designing your own app. You could even get them to draw what the app's going to look like. So again, it's getting the visual out of here, using pen and paper to do it. So there's some visual and tactile learning going on there before they actually get online to do it. Sometimes the reinforcement of pen and paper is really good before they get online. Other kids work straight online. So answer those 8 questions first, and then you can actually go ahead with the designing, or they can go ahead with the designing. A few other ideas, practical ideas that were always fun when I was doing some things with my kids, was designing their own obstacle course. So this is something that can be done from home, where we could be locked down. Your child could be a little, unwell, but they're still able to do things. They can design their own obstacle course in the house. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. You can do it as, a person going around through the obstacle course, or you can get them to use their car tracks and everything else and get a car actually going along the track. So there's two different ways of doing an obstacle course. Create a fort in the lounge room. I love this. And even as an adult, sometimes I get my sheets out and I get my airers out and I make a fort and I put a little mattress in there and I have my coffee and my book and I just don't adult for that day. So that's a fun thing you can do with the kids as well. You can upcycle your plant growing. So if you get the kids in the exercise of getting outside and cutting back your trees and your plants and things like that, you can actually upcycle those plants and pop them in some water so that they can sprout their little roots and then put them back into the garden or give them away. It's an alternative. You can get them to draw a plan of the garden or even a veggie garden. So those are things you could plan during this time. One of the things that is so fantastic is let kids cook. So again, it's a matter of planning. What do they need? How are they going to get it? How much is it going to cost? What utensils and things do I need to actually make it? Is there a recipe I need to follow? All those sorts of practical things. Cooking is fantastic because then they get to actually eat it themselves as well. And getting them to cook dinner is always a plus. Let the kids navigate. So if you go for a walk somewhere or you're going out just for a drive, let your child navigate. Okay, mum, dad, turn left or turn right, or can we go here? That sort of thing. And the last thing I thought was fun when I was working with my son is a treasure map. So there's lots of different ways you can do a treasure map. You can do it in the house if you're in lockdown. You can do it out in your garden. And it's up to you what you use as the bits of treasure. If the child likes dinosaurs, which I talked about earlier, it may well be that he or she would love to find where their dinosaurs are. And you can make out a little bit of a treasure map. And you can ask them if you've done the right thing, if you put the right sort of things on the map, visuals on the map for them to find it. Treasure map can also be done with words, doesn't have to be a visual treasure map. So yeah, there's some practical things. I hope they really work well for you all. By all means, please pop me a message and let me know how you get on. And I hope that you have fun during the holidays this year.